Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to From This Point Forward, a Buffalo Sabres comedy podcast. Maybe you're coming over from Analytics Are for the Nerds. Come on in. Check out your favorite hockey team, too. I got to imagine, what do you like, fantasy football, and you don't love beating yourself over the head every week with shittiness? This is a Buffalo Sabres podcast. We're going to have some fun today.
Acknowledge the fact that in one of your favorite movies of all time, you thought the slogan was "Ducks quack forever" instead of "Ducks fly together."
No,
it's
you also
bad.
think they live in Wells. It's the whole theme of the movie, Lou. But he had the duck call.
They go quack.
It would be Malcolm Subban, mostly because that one season where instead of letting him play for the Sabres for the last game of the year, they had him sing the national anthem. And it was a real, like, you're under contract, the season is over. We know you've only gotten to be up here a couple of times. How about you come back up here? Oh, great, I'll put my pads in the car. No. You won't need them. Just make sure you warm up the pipes when you're driving down the 90.
Mitch Marner.
You heard it, Mitch. If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom.
Well, hello, Chris. How are you doing tonight? We have
Every day's a gift.
Every day's a gift. We last show it was me and Ryan while you were at the game trying feverishly, by the way, to get in and be part of the show. We didn't have much luck there this week. Ryan unfortunately had to miss, but you just joined us a little bit on Analytics for the Nerds, our other podcasts, and going right into this, talking Buffalo Sabres. I don't know. Is this? I feel like this is the 2-week period of the whole season that I feel like there's the most to talk about. How do you feel?
There's so much to talk about and also nothing to talk about.
I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way.
I've been I was at the Edmonton game. I was at the Calgary game. I was at the Butter Dish game. I left my Butter Dish upstairs. The only games I haven't been at in person were the Devils game and obviously the game in Minnesota. I am hopelessly addicted to Tage Parms. I have been baffled by Tyson Kozak being the 1C, but also pleasantly surprised by Josh Norris returning. I don't care where Tage Thompson plays right now. Who's the goaltender? I don't know. They all kind of suck. What's Lindy doing sometimes? I don't know. Is Kevin Adams even showing up to the office anymore? I don't know. One thing I do know is that this is both the greatest and worst hockey team that the Sabres have fielded in decades, simultaneously, sometimes day to day.
It really is insane. I had tweeted out, I think during the game, so last week versus wasn't the Calgary game, whatever game it was right before the holiday there, Wednesday night, the night that
That was the Calgary game.
Okay.
They battled back to tie it up, and then we're just like, good enough.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about the same.
Oh no,
game.
that was 2 weeks ago.
We're not talking about the same game. Whatever happened. What was the game Wednesday?
The UPL game.
The UPL game.
Pittsburgh.
Well, the one where we're going to talk about is his extracurricular activities here shortly. But was at Pittsburgh.
That was Pittsburgh,
right? Yeah. Okay, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was the Pittsburgh one.
And I just was saying, like, I'll never say this team is good again. And then, then they look great here. Last game. I will say this before we get into like specific stuff. And I think I've mentioned this multiple times on the show already, is that the one thing that I feel is a little bit different this year compared to years past is I'm not necessarily feeling like there's an effort issue most nights. I think
most nights, no.
I think you're seeing it way more consistent effort from the majority of the roster. Now, are things a little bit baffling and, hard to figure out each on a day-to-day basis? Mostly, I think you hit the point on the head. No pun intended, but like about the goaltending is that feels like the thing you never know what we're going to get each night, especially when it's I can't all be the contract, can it? That they're giving UPL all these opportunities. I just don't understand what it can be besides the fact it's contract, or it's like Kevin Adams like having a little bit more control over the situation, because I just don't see Lindy being like that. I don't know.
I mean, he even kind of made the comment of being saddled with it as opposed to it being his preference. Honestly, the big Kevin Adams thing is like he makes zero decisions. He can't pull the trigger in the moment. Like, even with last year, when at the end of this season, he's like, I should have made a move during the losing streak. And it's like, it's great that he acknowledged that, but we're finding ourselves in another situation where it's like, and the thing they've banked on for years of guys taking the leap. And then you have this injury run where these guys from Rochester come in and play significant roles. And for a portion of that time, we're the only people contributing offensively. And then it's like, but our guys are back. So now, instead of trying to sort through the mess and make a move, high-end depth is clearly a problem with this team still. But now you have so many guys in this, like, 3 to 6 on, 3 to 9, like the mid-6 depth chart now, where make a move with somebody. Make a move with any goaltender and somebody for something significant. Jacob Bryson, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like, he shouldn't be playing even as the 6th D-man. He shouldn't be night after night. Like Kesselring, maybe you've got an injury bug with him. Make a move. That's all I want, is just a move. Yeah, and it is a thing where, like, we talked about this on the last podcast we were at the game, is when I like kind of been like, was when we were anticipating this, we did kind of like, what would the lines look like when we're healthy? And now we're seeing it. Like, I wanted Rosen and Oslin to both stay up here, but what does Rosen do for this team on the 4th line? Like, that you don't want that player on the 4th line, and tell me, okay, so say, okay, he deserves to stay in the top 9. Well, tell me who's going on the bottom line, because maybe 2 weeks ago I would have said Jack Quinn, but this is the best 2 weeks he's had in his career. Yeah.
He looks like a different player this last couple of weeks. So I don't want to say him. The fourth line is like now like a traditional fourth line. I don't want to mess that up. I want with Greenway, Melliston, and Krebs that go out there and play physical and go out there and hit and do what a fourth line's supposed to. And like that's like a wet dream for Lindy. So he is not messing that up if he doesn't have to. So now you're talking that top nine, which of course you're always going to have injuries and stuff like that. But like, are you in a position to be sitting on depth like that?
That's when we have to have the hard talks about like the Alex Tuck situation, where it's like it's getting towards New Year's. His contract is up. His price as a rental player is getting smaller and smaller as we move forward, assuming that you're not going to be able to re-sign him, because
they're going to get it done.
This many comparable signings over the past like 4 weeks,
you would think it would be done.
You would think it would be done. And if you're not going to do it, again, will not make a decision. Either pay the man or move him out. And again, every week, his price just drops lower. And you've got these guys who might be able to fill into those roles on the wing. I don't want to pay a 31-year-old second to third line winger $11 million.
I'm back and forth on it. I'll give you, before like a real opinion, I'll say this, whether I would agree with it or not. I truly believe, and I don't know how you feel about this, but if they were in a playoff spot right now, it's done. He signed at the 12 million, 8 years, 12 million or whatever, the Kempe deal, say, and it's done. If I had to guess, because now, like you said, the contract is there. So we know what it's going to be, give or take $500,000 or whatever. The comps are there. So to me, obviously, there's pullback from one side or the other. I'm assuming it's the Tuck side. I know we haven't heard that or whatever, but I'm assuming I don't know if I want to stick around for any more of this shit show. And then he had a little bit of a rough go there for a few weeks when things are starting to get bad. I do like to see that he seems to have responded with the rest of the team over here, but there is too much of that, right? Like this isn't the last that I'm happy with. Now, you would think the progression of this team is if they ever do get to be good, they're going to probably stay good for a while because they have a lot of youth.
Yeah.
But there is a little too much up and down with him that seems more mental than anything. But isn't that just a modern day athlete? Again, not to be like grandpa screaming at the wall, but
it's a lot of guys. I mean, just think of the Eichel that was here versus the Eichel that went to Vegas and was the second line center and a top 5 scorer in the league. That pressure is off. And they've got a lot of character guys. I think Tuck is a character guy. I don't think he's necessarily a leadership guy. And it's like, what are you keeping him around for? Again, like, I know we're the second youngest team in the league, but like, if he's not fulfilling that full-on leadership role, helping with the young guys coming in, and he's not a force, it's not show friends, Lou. It's show business. Like, we got to cut dead weight.
My 2 counterpoints to that is, one, and I've always said this since he's gotten here, and I know the years ago, but like, he is the perfect guy you want on a playoff team. I think he is like the epitome of I think he just would be an amazing balls to the wall playoff player.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also like, it's really hard to make a hockey trade with a UFA. And that's exactly what this team wants and needs. Like, they would not, I can't see them making a move unless they are way out of a playoff place with him at the deadline and taking, what, like you said, a much lesser price, I would imagine. But I don't think that price changes as much as you think it does from today to the deadline. And here's a couple of reasons why is like because of the contract that he's currently on.
Yeah.
Like teams that are good know they're going to be good and in it at the deadline anyways. Might as well wait, cut some of that salary cap down and what you owe them, and room under the cap gets a little bit easier the longer that you wait. So like, I don't think the price probably lowers as much as you might think if that's the type of deal you're forced into. And unfortunately, I think that's really the only type of deal you really can force yourself into. I wonder if a big deal comes. This is what I've wondered about like any Saber big deal coming, and we haven't seen one so far not have it. But I'm wondering if like not having a no trade clause might be something that Tuck would want. Be like, hey, I'm going to sign this deal because this is the money I want. But if, this is the money I want and I want to do it here. I want to be good here. But in a year or two, if I want out or you want me out to push to get younger, I don't want to hamstring either of us. I'll keep the no trade clause off so that, I'm not limiting your options. I wonder if that's not a thing that we might see in this situation too, but I don't know. The long-term deals are almost always straddled with some form of movement clause.
Yeah, I don't disagree, especially when you get a lot of those older guys that have the long-term big money deals. Like a lot of times when they do get moved, it winds up being cap relief and they don't get sent to another good team. That's why a lot of those are in there. I will say, as far as that goes, I feel like Kevin Adams, one thing that he has done well is when those situations arrive, he's always taken care of guys and gotten them to like good situations. He has, I mean, the Eichel debacle is what it is, but like, the way they parted ways with Reinhardt, the way they parted ways with Oposo, even the Dylan Cousins, like, we need a change of scenery. Here's a place that, you wanted to go. We made it happen. It worked for us a little bit. Maybe it worked better than we thought. They seem to have been good with that. So if I was a guy, like, I'll take the money with the no trade clause option. I wouldn't be like, oh, they're going to stick me in, whoever's going to be in last place in 2 seasons. When Edmonton falls apart, when the McDavid bridge deal's done, who knows? But
he's going to be one of those big trade pieces for Ryan's deal to get McDavid back.
That's what I was thinking about with the trading Tuck and the value thing, especially for trying to make it a hockey trade. Like, it's going to be a package. Him, maybe one of those bubble guys from Rochester, maybe a goalie, something. Like, if they're trying to make a hockey move, for something, if they find a D-man that they like, if they want to part ways with Owen Power, which I don't think they should do yet. Who knows? I don't know, but I just want them to do something.
I get it. I know you're
I don't care about winning trades, all of that. Like, that's dumb. That's what losers do. Like, that's how many years with the Bills when they weren't making the playoffs were like, but they got graded an A+ draft. Like, who cares? You can't. This is, what is this? 5 years of Adams?
6.
Or is this year 6? This is year 6. Every single season, we've hit a precipice where he should do something. and he's not doing anything. And it's to the point where, like, I want you to be gone. But if you're going to be here, I need you to do a thing.
My only, again, I find myself apologizing for this team and these assholes way too much.
It's okay.
But my counterpoint is, at least this year, because I think you're right. I think in years past we have we've seen these instances. But like this year, what if he's just sitting at home like I am every other day? Like, is this fucking team good or are they bad? Are they the worst team I've ever seen? And he might be doing that. Like, he might be like, you know what? I'm ready to make a move. And then they play a game like they did the other day. He's like, well, I don't got to make a move. I'm a genius.
That's part of what makes this year so tough about it. And when you were talking earlier about the compete thing, like, it's way easier to in any position, his or ours as fans, to just be like, you've got to do something when 5 games in a row, they're up 2 goals in the second period and they lose by 3. You know, like that's easy. You should do something. But now this is where I need you to put your big boy GM pants on. You've got team friendship around you. You know, you've got Stahl and Yarmo there. Terry's got your back. You know, pull those pants up and just do a thing that you think will make this team better. Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. It just, I mean, we casually dressed 6 defensemen the other night because we have 3 goaltenders on the roster and we don't know who to send down. Like, on the skating positions. You know, like, it's getting to the point of, like, why are you making this needlessly complicated?
The goaltending thing, I think, needs to be figured out for sure. And that's something we might have time for here today, where I again, just counterpoint, and I'm not trying to stick up for this man, but the last guy that we were all trying to get him to trade immediately is our best defenseman this year in Samuelson.
Yes.
Like, and that was somebody, and I'm one of them. I'm guilty. I don't want this after the Tage hit. I wanted him off the team the next day. I would have taken a bag of pucks, and now you have the best defenseman of the team signed for 7 more years at like $3.5 million a year or whatever that dumb contract is. So, it's tough.
You're not wrong. First off, you were scaring me with your hand motion.
What was I doing?
Don't do that. Don't do that, especially when we're talking about the Europeans on the roster. But I'm fully guilty of that as well. Wanting Samuelson to be gone. I saw one of the analytics guys on X.com, the Everything app, after yesterday's game, crunching their numbers, whatever math they do. Samuelson was the number 1 rated defenseman in the league after the game yesterday, which is nuts. And this ties into UPL a little bit. Me, I'll save this take for the UPL conversation. But I was wrong about Samuelson. There are several episodes of this podcast where I am begging the team to buy out his contract or to just move him and eat $5 million out of the $7 million a year that he's getting. I was wrong.
Yeah. We all were.
And I agree with your point on that, but at the same time, you can't expect that to happen with everybody all the time.
Yeah. No, I get that. You can't, and he's got to make moves here. I totally understand. That's got to be a thing. I think it's the goalie thing. before we get
It's the
into
number one.
we have to get to the UPL situation because it's funny. But before we get there, I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about this. You missed last episode, but
I did, but I listened.
Did you?
I did. I checked it out.
Did you catch the big uproar on social media about the graphics team that we have? Did you see? Did you see
I
that?
heard a little kerfuffle.
Yeah, there was maybe not a listener, maybe just somebody that came across it, but yeah, made fun of my Buffalo, and it reminded me of the first episode when you guys made fun of my Buffalo. And you know what? I didn't go to school for graphic design, and I let AI do things for me all the time, and I'm not embarrassed by it. And if you guys are going to judge our Buffalo, we don't want you listening anyways. How about that? How about you go fuck yourself with your pretty
stay on.
Buffaloes? Please listen. No, seriously, please
we
listen.
need all 7 of you to stay.
We need you guys.
We're working on a softball league.
Be nice. Don't talk about our Buffalo, and I like our little melted Buffalo. I think
you like it because you paid your subscription to ChatGPT for it.
For sure. All right. Well, I can't believe we got 30 minutes into this podcast almost without bringing up the most important aspect of the last 2 weeks. And that is the video that surfaced of our favorite goalie, UPL, at a bar after the Pittsburgh flew in from Pittsburgh. I'm going to let you talk. I'm the host. I'm going to flew in from Pittsburgh after the game, and then there was a video of him having a drink at one of the local establishments. Your thoughts, Chris?
Are we avoiding naming that local establishment?
I don't think we have to. No, we don't have to.
Because it was not just a local establishment, Luigi. This is important to from this point forward lore. This is a keystone moment because he was videoed drinking at 40 Thieves, the very bar where the genesis of this podcast took place. You and I went and watched the Sabres play a matinee special.
Yes, we did.
At 40 Thieves. It was during the run where UPL was good. And the team was bad, and they were losing games like 2-1, and he would have like a 38 save night. So we were fans of his. Sure. At this moment in 40 Thieves, the genesis of from this point forward. Now, was he there because he's a listener of the podcast? Was he the person who complained about the Buffalo? Absolutely. Hi, UP. How you doing? I said earlier on the previous podcast, people who film other people in public suck. It's lame. Just let people have a good time. Why are you raining on their parade? He was just a dude sitting at a bar, clearly doing a bad job talking to the woman that was next to him. It was a string of losses for him that night. But that being said, I have to say, bullying works. That video came out. We shit all over him for days. The entire Buffalo sports internet community was real shitty to him. Like none of us have done the same thing after a bad day. But the next time he got in net, yesterday against the Winnipeg Jets, he put together a dandy. He looked good. He wasn't overcommitting to pucks. He wasn't flailing around when there were people in front of him. He looked great. It worked with Matthias Samuelsson. It worked with UPL. We're trying to make it work with Owen Power. We can bully this team into being good. So, if you see, this is my only exception. if you see a rostered member of the Buffalo Sabres doing something foolish in public, get your camera out and post it immediately. We will play it on the show. I will pay Meta to boost the clip. We will bully them all into being good. The only exception is if Mason Geertsen gets called back up. I don't care what he does. Leave him alone. He's a sweet boy.
That's it. Mason Geertsen, baby. We're
That's
still Mason Geertsen podcast.
Always.
I thought you made the point here. I think Ellie made the good point in the other podcast when we were talking about it. Was like, she said, when we have a bad day at work, what do? We usually go to the bar and have a couple drinks. So, and it was the biggest party day of the year. And, the genesis of this podcast, we like 40 Thieves. We like them to have a couple extra customers. We have no issues with that. I think it's dumb. I think what you said, I think anybody putting recording in anybody's face. But I want the days of our parents hung out with like the French Connection and just like at a bar getting drunk on a nightly basis. And the only thing that we have to go about is their dumb stories. They're probably lying because their friend hung out with them. But who cares? We know, it was all there's stories for lore. This shit is dumb. And like you said, he was striking out, obviously. He was not doing well with the girl. He was like, and then I was screened on the third one. he was going through.
It wasn't my fault, baby.
He's like, Owen Power sucks. He fucking coughed up the one puck. He's just telling her everything that went wrong that night. I hated it. The guy got way more backlash than what he was probably thinking, and he deserved it. So I would love to see a video of that dude that night. But yeah. All right. Well, we talked the UPL thing. Thoughts so real quick before we go into that he's still the one out for you of the quote unquote of the three?
I have kind of shifted. I think if you can get a good 2-game run out of Alex Lyon, I think he's your best bet to move. Because he's played the most games out of all of these guys. He's only had 2 real clunkers that were on him. UPL is always going to be week to week. You're going to get a different guy, sometimes game to game, sometimes period to period. Colton Ellis, I mean, he's still so green, but I was a little surprised. He started off shaky. That first period in Minnesota was not his best. But specifically the last 10 minutes of the third period and the overtime period, he is the sole reason they were able to get 2 points, even though he absolutely sucked in the shootout. But I think he had a rough start. He settled and locked in game. He finished strong. I was kind of surprised they went back to UPL after that performance out of him. And I think, again, this is where sometimes I just want him to take a shot. And I kind of feel like this probably the smartest move is to get rid of UPL because it'll free up money. But I think the probably smarter move for Kevin Adams might be to move a Lion.
Yeah. You're not going to get anything for Lyon, though. That's what sucks. No. But still, just to get him off the roster and get maybe a small asset back. A depth defenseman or something like that. I got a couple points here. One on the UPL thing that I wanted to get back to because I forgot about it. But you have made this reference, whether it not be on the pod, maybe just via text or our conversation. But it's the total opposite of Ryan Miller. I would be able to watch Ryan Miller the first 5 minutes of the game and knew if he had it. And when I say that, when I knew if he had it that day, whenever he was like coming out on really deep angles and like kind of overextending and moving around a lot, I'm like, oh, he's on tonight. You have said it the opposite, and you're so true. When you see UPL like moving a little too much or coming out to play angles, you're like, oh shit, he's fucked tonight. Like, because then he gets like he does it too much. He goes too crazy.
Yes. I mean, he was
within 10 minutes of like what UPL were getting.
Yeah. Like there was one game that I was at. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it might have been maybe the Calgary. Ago. Yeah. I don't remember which one, but it was like he was protecting the entire trapezoid behind the net. Like he was so far over, and it was just like, just tighten it up. He's weird because he's huge, and the way I judge him is like if he's sitting up when he drops in his butterfly, if he's sitting up or if his shoulders are down, because he's 6'4" and he sometimes plays like he's the smallest goalie in the world. And it's baffling because it's like, if you just sat at your normal gait, you would stop 90% of the shots that come at you without even moving.
Yep.
And it's frustrating. He's the biggest wild card. But I mean, we've seen it in the past where he'll put on these runs of, he's done it more than once. They've been shorter time frames than the 2 year ago run, where he went that like 25 games where he was like the number 3 goalie in the league after the All-Star break.
Yeah. To wrap up really quick on just the goalie situation all in general, like I still want it to be UPL. I think that might be, and maybe this is giving Adams too much credit, but I think that might be the reason of the extended run, because you kind of have like a catch-22, right? Or like a win-win situation. If he's good and you want to move him, you can move him. If he's good, that means he's probably creating wins, and you're so like but I think I'm giving him too much credit there. I do think it's like a lion move. Ellis is just the one that I don't want to get rid of or find a way to lose him in waivers or whatever, because he is the unknown, and I want the unknown to have the opportunity. We know what Lion is. Like Lion's going to be a guy he's the perfect, whatever, 1B or 2A, whatever you want to call him. And
he's a Marty Baron.
Yes. And
he'll put in a run when you need him, but he's fine going back and forth with somebody.
100%. And I would never want him to be the guy. And I think we all want the idea of what UPL looked like for 50 games 2 seasons ago, but I don't know. I think this is probably closer to the guy he is than what that guy was, but whatever. All right. So we'll end with this, and in future weeks, and when we have Ryan and stuff, I'll ask for these in advance, and we'll have like graphics and stuff. I know how much our listeners are about graphics. Very much into that, but we're gonna do like a weekly or bi-weekly, obviously, because we're doing power ranking, and we'll just do like 3 things of who's in the tops of the ranks, Sabres related, let's say, because saying that would be a great segue, because my number 3 in my power ranks this week is 40 Thieves. I feel like they did well. They got a little, things have been going, sometimes I'm in there. It's not the busiest. They got some really good advertisement out there, showed a busy environment with some cute girls. Sabres players hang out there. I think they're moving up the power ranks. They're at my number 3. My number 2, I just love every opportunity to eat crow on this dude. Like it's Samuelson, and it's just I think it's more so because of how one, insane it is that we just all swore him to the end, but just two, that like the excitement now was the same excitement that I had the day that it was signed. I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is this for, like, a 20, whatever he was, 22, or he was young at the time he signed that. And I know people are like, what this, why would you do that? And I was excited about it because I was like, if this kid just keeps growing even a little bit, I was like, I think it at the current player he was his rookie or second year when he signed that, I was like, if he's this person through the 7 years, that's going to look like a steal. And then, then the fall off happened, and then the Tage hit, and it was like, oh my God, I don't even want to be straddled looking at this guy for 6 more years. And I'm not saying this like to like be hot takey. He has been the best defenseman on this team for the last, or for the whole season. I mean, it's not even, I don't even think it's that close.
I think it was the third game is when he turned around. Like the first 2 games were rough for him, and then game 3, he switched.
Yep. And then my number one, hey, we joked around about this guy all season and what this could be, but while he's healthy, Josh Norris belongs in the top spot.
Okay.
A great debut. The guy we haven't even talked about here, 45 minutes, and I know we won't have time, but he is my number one on my power ranking. So why don't you give your 3?
Okay.
We are in a time frame here.
Number 3, Sabres social media team. Listen, we talk about how bad it is watching this team. Imagine having to think that some of these games are okay and acceptable, and having that be your job. Your job is to be a professional liar. But on the good nights, they bring it. They bring it on the bad nights too, but they deserve a shout out. They're number 3 right now. Number 2 for me, taking them down a peg for yours because I don't want them to get too big of a head. Josh Norris, welcome back. The reverse Tim Connolly, sick body, his head is fine. At the game yesterday, when that dust up happened, when everybody started grabbing onto people and throwing hands, I started screaming, "No, Josh Norris! No.
Don't you
get away from there!" So he's my number 2 right now. And number 1 on the team is the Sabres promo team. Everybody knows the legend of the Sabier. Also, the Butter Dish game was a to-do. It was an afternoon matinee. People were getting Butter Dish coupons for their children and walking out with like 7 of them. They are coveted. They are beautiful. You can fit like 6 sticks of butter on there. Enough to cover one big Tage Parm sandwich. They're incredible. They're doing a great job with these giveaways. So shout out to the promo team. They're number 1 in my book right now.
Well, look at that. I might even be allowed back in the arena after that speech. And I wasn't even the one making it, but I think I might be allowed back in. Well, that is it for today. Thanks for tuning in all night here. Hopefully you were with us for both podcasts. If not, I appreciate you guys tuning in from this point forward. For Chris Plumer, I'm Louie G. We'll be back in 2 weeks, hopefully with Ryan, and we're gonna be doing a new challenge. We went to the Tage Parm. Now there's these Sabre beers. Time for a new challenge. So we'll be doing a new draft in a couple weeks, and hopefully we'll still think the team might be good.
Maybe above 500.
That's asking a lot.